Most people will never realize this, but some of the habits you repeat every single day are quietly shaping the way others judge your intelligence, your confidence, and even your potential for success. The scary part is that these habits often feel harmless, normal, or even productive on the surface. You might believe they help you relax, stay informed, or fit in socially, when in reality they are slowly training your brain to operate below its true capacity. This is not about IQ tests, degrees, or how much information you can memorize. Intelligence in real life is expressed through behavior, patterns of thinking, and the way you respond to pressure, uncertainty, and boredom. If you pay close attention, you will notice that highly intelligent people tend to protect their mental energy, while others unknowingly waste it. In this video, we're going to uncover the psychological habits that silently lower your perceived intelligence and, more importantly, limit your actual mental performance over time. What makes this especially dangerous is that almost everyone practices at least one of these habits daily without questioning it. By the end of this video, you may start noticing these patterns not only in yourself, but in people around you, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Stay until the end, because the final habit is the most common and the most destructive, yet almost no one talks about it openly. One of the clearest psychological signs of declining cognitive control is the inability to tolerate silence or mental stillness. Many people feel an intense discomfort when they are not consuming content, listening to music, scrolling through social media, or engaging in constant stimulation. This habit trains the brain to avoid deep thinking, reflection, and sustained focus. Over time, the mind becomes reactive instead of intentional, jumping from one stimulus to the next without ever fully processing information. Intelligent thinking requires moments of boredom, silence, and mental resistance, because this is where insight is formed. When you constantly flood your mind with noise, you reduce your capacity to connect ideas, analyze situations, and make thoughtful decisions. Psychologically, this creates a shallow thinking pattern where emotions dominate logic and impulses replace reasoning. People who cannot sit alone with their thoughts often struggle to understand themselves, articulate complex ideas, or maintain long-term goals. This habit may feel harmless, but it slowly weakens your attention span and emotional regulation, two core pillars of intelligence. If you notice that silence makes you anxious or restless, that is not a coincidence. It is a sign that your mind has been conditioned to escape depth rather than explore it. Another behavior that silently erodes intelligence is the need for constant external validation. This includes obsessively checking likes, comments, messages, or approval from others before trusting your own judgment. When your sense of worth depends on external reactions, your thinking becomes distorted. You start prioritizing what is popular over what is accurate, what feels good over what is true, and what is socially rewarded over what is intellectually honest. Intelligent individuals are not immune to feedback, but they are not controlled by it. They evaluate information independently and are willing to hold unpopular opinions if the evidence supports them. Validation seeking creates a fragile mindset where disagreement feels like a personal attack, making learning nearly impossible. Psychologically, this habit strengthens emotional dependency and weakens critical thinking. Over time, people who rely heavily on validation stop asking deep questions and start copying behaviors that generate approval. This leads to conformity, not intelligence. If you feel anxious when your ideas are challenged or ignored, it may not be a confidence issue, but a cognitive one. True intelligence grows in environments where disagreement, curiosity, and independent reasoning are allowed to exist without fear. Talking excessively, especially without being asked, is often misunderstood as confidence or knowledge, but psychologically it can signal insecurity and poor self-regulation. Intelligent communication is not about saying more. It is about saying what matters. Over-explaining usually comes from a fear of being misunderstood or not being seen as competent, which pushes people to fill silence with unnecessary details. This habit weakens the perceived clarity of your thinking and makes your message harder to follow. People with strong cognitive control are comfortable with pauses, brevity, and precision. They understand that silence can be powerful and that not every thought needs to be verbalized. From a psychological perspective, excessive talking reduces your ability to listen, which is one of the most critical skills for learning. When you talk too much, you miss information, emotional cues, and subtle details that require attention. Over time, this habit limits intellectual growth because learning happens through observation and reflection, not constant expression. If you notice that you often speak just to avoid silence, it may be time to reassess how you process information internally. Emotional intelligence is a major component of overall intelligence, yet many people underestimate how damaging emotional reactivity can be. Reacting impulsively to criticism, stress, or disagreement trains the brain to prioritize emotion over reason. This habit reduces your ability to think clearly under pressure, which is one of the most important indicators of intelligence. Highly intelligent individuals are not emotionless. They simply create a gap between stimulus and response. This pause allows them to evaluate situations objectively rather than emotionally. When you react instantly, you surrender control of your thinking to external events. Psychologically, this reinforces stress pathways in the brain and weakens cognitive flexibility. Over time, emotional reactivity becomes a default response, making problem-solving more difficult and increasing mental fatigue. People may interpret this as immaturity or lack of depth, even if you are knowledgeable. Learning to regulate emotions does not suppress them. It refines them into useful signals rather than destructive impulses. Intelligence thrives in calm, controlled environments, both internally and externally. Many people unconsciously avoid complexity because it feels uncomfortable, slow, and mentally demanding. They prefer simplified explanations, quick conclusions, and binary thinking. While simplicity has its place, avoiding complexity altogether limits intellectual growth. Real intelligence develops when you can hold multiple perspectives, tolerate uncertainty, and resist the urge for immediate answers. Psychologically, complexity forces the brain to build stronger neural connections, improving reasoning and adaptability. When you avoid it, you train your mind to operate at a surface level. This habit often shows up as dismissing nuanced discussions, relying on slogans instead of arguments, or rejecting ideas that challenge existing beliefs. Over time, this creates rigid thinking patterns that are easy to manipulate and difficult to evolve. Intelligent individuals actively seek complexity, not because it feels good, but because it sharpens their thinking. If you notice a tendency to shut down when conversations become deep or uncomfortable, it may be a sign that your mind is protecting itself from growth rather than pursuing it. Information consumption without application creates the illusion of intelligence without its substance. Watching videos, reading books, and listening to podcasts can feel productive. But without action, this habit becomes mental entertainment rather than learning. Psychologically, the brain rewards novelty, not mastery, which is why consuming new information feels good even when nothing changes. Intelligent behavior is demonstrated through implementation, not accumulation. When you fail to apply what you learn, your brain does not form strong memory pathways, and the knowledge fades quickly. Over time, this creates a cycle of constant consumption and minimal growth. People who apply information, even imperfectly, develop deeper understanding and sharper judgment. This habit is especially dangerous because it feels like progress while producing stagnation. If your learning does not change your behavior, decisions, or habits, it is not truly learning. Intelligence is revealed through outcomes, not inputs. The mind and body are deeply connected, yet many people treat them as separate systems. Poor sleep, lack of movement, and inconsistent routines directly impair cognitive function. Psychologically, physical discipline creates structure, predictability, and resilience, all of which support higher-level thinking. When the body is neglected, mental clarity suffers. Attention decreases, emotional regulation weakens, and decision-making becomes impulsive. Highly intelligent individuals often protect their energy by maintaining basic physical habits, not for appearance but for mental performance. This habit is not about extreme fitness but about consistency. Over time, neglecting the body trains the brain to operate in survival mode rather than creative or analytical mode. If your thoughts feel foggy or your motivation unstable, the cause may not be mental, but physical. Intelligence requires energy, and energy requires care. One of the most damaging psychological habits is the fear of being wrong. This fear prevents people from asking questions, experimenting, or changing their minds. Intelligence grows through correction, not perfection. When you avoid being wrong, you avoid learning. Psychologically, this habit is rooted in ego protection rather than truth-seeking. Highly intelligent individuals are willing to revise their beliefs when new evidence appears. They understand that being wrong is temporary, but refusing to learn is permanent. Over time, fear of being wrong creates stagnation and intellectual dishonesty. People may appear confident, but their thinking remains shallow and outdated. Embracing mistakes strengthens cognitive flexibility and humility, two traits strongly associated with intelligence. If you notice resistance when your beliefs are challenged, it may be an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. The most common and destructive habit of all is living on autopilot. When you repeat the same behaviors, thoughts, and reactions without reflection, your intelligence slowly fades into routine. Autopilot thinking reduces awareness, curiosity, and intentionality. Psychologically, it places the brain in energy-saving mode where growth is no longer prioritized. Intelligent individuals regularly question their habits, beliefs, and environments. They reflect, adjust, and evolve. Living consciously requires effort, but it keeps the mind sharp and adaptable. If you want to protect and expand your intelligence, start by noticing your habits. Small changes in awareness can create massive shifts in thinking. The moment you stop questioning is the moment growth stops. Stay curious, stay intentional, and never let your mind operate below its true potential.